In this day and age, being a teen is not an easy task to do when you're growing up and trying to figure out life by yourself. With so much stress put onto you, you might find poor ways to relax yourself. A common outlet that teenagers turn to is the abuse of substances. Marijuana, cocaine, LSD, and various drugs are often found in the hands of teenagers between the ages of 14 and 18, and they've even found themselves within this school. There's been at least 2 incidents regarding drug use in the school. The first occurrence was on January 14th, 2022. During second period, there was a commotion going on in Jenkins' room. The class was working on Nights of New Tech, so people were all over the place, which was the perfect opportunity for someone to sneak into the back room and light a joint. I walked into Jenkins' room and went into the back to go and work on a robot, and was just hit with the overwhelming smell of weed. Even my friend Joel walked in there and got a headache from how strong the smell was. I remember this one time, we were about to go into our robotics workroom, and somebody smoked a joint in there earlier, and Joel walked in there. Can you please tell us what happened to you for the next 3 days?
Yeah, I was out of it. I threw up multiple times because that was rancid. I don't know, it stunk, and it gave me such a bad migraine.
Yeah. The second occurrence was on March 31st, 2022, where literally the entire hallway smelled like weed. Now, to clarify a couple of things, we organized an interview with Mr. Pablo to gain a better understanding not only in the effects of drugs, but also on the psychology on what would cause someone to do drugs.
Question one is, what is your degree?
My degree is in music, but now I teach chemistry.
And the second question is, what is your position in the school?
My position is chemistry teacher at New Tech High School.
And the questions that we're gonna ask is, how do addictive chemicals inside drugs work in chemistry?
Yeah, so essentially your body breaks them down. Most of those chemicals, they are man-made, so your body can't really break them down naturally, like carrots, like vegetables, like fruits, that stuff we're supposed to eat. Your body is used to breaking that stuff down. But with drugs, they can actually be toxic because of that reason. Your body can't break them down. Hormonally, they can cause a sense of pleasure or of an altered state of mind, but your body can start rejecting them. That's why you see people, very thinned out. They start getting rashes all over the place. So it can be harmful, but, pleasure at the same time, but more harmful than anything.
And is there a difference between the way it affects between stronger drugs and weaker drugs?
It depends how you define it. For example, marijuana, you would say it's a weaker drug. It just alters your state of mind. It's something natural. It can have a bad effect, like if you're driving, if you're with your family and stuff like that, just being an outcast, stuff like that. But physically, there are some drugs that can affect you way more, like heroin. You got cocaine as well. Your heart starts beating way faster. You can eventually get a heart attack. So physically, those can be worse.
Why would teenagers do drugs?
Partly because of peer pressure, society. We've normalized a whole lot of stuff, especially Hollywood, in the music industry. So we try to look up to those people or be like those people who we look up to. It can also be depression, since drugs are a remedy for some effects of depression. They can actually become addictive, and people do become addictive. And just some people, to get away from life, if I'm in a state of if I'm in an altered state of mind, I can get away from my reality. So I think those are the 3 main reasons why people do drugs.
What are some ways that we can help teenagers combat this with the drug epidemic?
Yeah, so I think overall being a positive influence, which is what I'm trying to do with all my students. I tell everyone, you can be happy without them. You can find the good side of life without them. Drugs are good in the sense that they are medicinal. You know, they use them in hospitals all the time. But unless you really need them to survive, don't take them. So just letting people see the reality of things and that there is a brighter side to life.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all.
So with that being said, is it true that drugs are the problem? Or is it that students aren't getting enough help with their mental health? Many questions still remain. You just have to make sure to think twice before you make a decision regarding drugs. Don't do it.